Hello, as we welcome our viewers in the Gambia and around the world. This is News Review, and my name is Lamin Jai. Coming up on the show, Fode Gassama has finally been sworn in as a member of the National Assembly. We'll bring you that story a bit later. Also, Gambians still continue to react to the sacking of Ousainou Darboe as Vice President of the Gambia. We'll bring you that story too and many more. But first, though, let's take a look at the papers, and we'll begin with the Standard newspaper. The Standard newspaper lead story today says Darboe Sane react to sacking. Operation 3 years Jotna will not be intimidated. Man shot dead in Gunjur Berending land dispute. Supreme Court rejects Yakumba's injunction. We'll look at some of the stories that the Standard is reporting on today. Former Vice President and leader of the UDP, Ousainou Darboe, has reacted to his sacking in a characteristically subdued tone, even cracking jokes about it to a crowd of supporters who trooped to his house immediately the cabinet reshuffle was announced. I think the bus conductor has decided it is time to get off the bus, he joked to a hilarious laughter from the crowd. However, on a more serious note, Darboe asked his supporters to remain law-abiding and called on UDP National Assembly members to avoid politicizing the assembly, noting that the House is a very serious place where the fate of the country is discussed and formulated. He told his supporters one positive thing about the sacking is that he would have more time for himself and other things without the burden of government functions to think of. He also called for calm over the ruling of the Yakumba Jaite injunction, reminding the crowd that the case is not completed as the substantive matter of the case is yet to be decided. However, former Trade Minister Amadou Sane, who was the immediate boss of President Barrow in the UDP, accused the president of betrayal. Addressing sympathizers at his house over the weekend, Sane said he was always expecting that the eventual parting will come and had since prepared himself. I have always suspected Barrow's moves since he began saying that even before he settles down, people in the UDP want to overthrow him. But I want to make it clear that the UDP will remain unbroken. If we could stand up to and survive the fight against Yahya Jammeh's dictatorship for 20 years or 22 years, supporting and bailing each other socially and politically, we can still withstand this new betrayal, he said. Mr. Sane further called on supporters to realize the struggle must continue because President Barrow is now listening to the APRC and Yahya Jammeh's people who have wrecked this country. These are the people advising him, and this means that we must renew the struggle, Sane said. He cited examples appointing an APRC man as a governor of CRR, as well as emboldening the likes of Chief Yaya Jajusi of Jara Soma and his wife against an activist like. All these are examples that Barrow is listening to the same people with whom Jammeh destroyed this country, he stated. Meanwhile, there has been a deluge of comments and divided opinions among Gambians on the matter. While most political opponents of the UDP and Darboe, notably APRC supporters, celebrate the reshuffle, others, mainly UDP supporters, accused President Barrow of betraying the party that facilitated his presidency. Operation 3 years Jotna will not be intimidated by Lamin Cham Fatou Konta, a political activist and one of the vocal members of the Operation 3 years Jotna, a group calling on President Barrow to step aside after 3 years, has told the Standard that the group will not be intimidated or cowered into submission by anybody. Madam Konta was responding to Esa Damfa, the media political aide at State House, who told the Standard last week that anyone wanting to demonstrate in support of the 3 years campaign will be dealt with legally, since almost all coalition parties have now agreed for Barrow to complete the 5 years. Mr. Damfa is trying to intimidate people, but he must know that we are not afraid in this new Gambia. We have fought dictatorship and will not allow to be dictated by anyone anymore. The fact of the matter is that the coalition parties and President Barrow himself told Gambians that they will only stay for 3 years. So at the end of the 3 years, we will stand up and remind them of what they have told us and why people voted for them. So they owe Gambians an explanation as to why they are not keeping their promise. It is as simple as that, Konta told the Standard. This is a State House press release dated 17 March 2019. Reports of rising tensions and violence coming out of Kombo South between the communities of Gunjur and Berending is very disturbing. His Excellency President Adama Barrow is concerned and closely monitoring the situation. President Barrow is advising both sides to exercise maximum restraint and calm. He equally calls on the two communities to allow local authorities and the deployed law enforcement agencies to do their job. The President urges people not to take the law into their own hands, especially on matters of land ownership. The government has instituted a land commission where matters relating to land issues should be addressed. This is a press release from the Office of the President in respect of the land dispute between Gunjur and Berending. And there is another report on the Standard, which is saying that Supreme Court, which happened on Friday, Supreme Court rejects Yakumba Jaite's injunction. 5 Supreme Court judges led by Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow Friday rejected Yakumba Jaite's injunction to restraining the swearing in of Fode Gassama. Gassama was named by President Barrow as Jaite's successor as nominated member of the National Assembly. That will be that for the Standard newspaper. We'll quickly go through what the point is reporting on today, Monday, 18th March 2019. Gunjur Berending land scuffle claims 1 life. Barrow parts with Dabo, same as the Standard. Dabo tells supporters he is now free like a bird. Amadou Sane, my sacking did not surprise me. So we will quickly go through 1 or 2 stories on the point. The point is reporting that Gunjur Berending land scuffle claims 1 life. A land dispute between Gunjur and Berending villages in Kombo South has claimed that the life of 1 individual on Saturday. One Buba Drame of Berending shot the victim, Buba Jame, in the stomach as the 2 villages scuffled over land. The deceased was in his late 40s. Police have arrested 9 people in connection with the matter. The accused, Mr. Drame, is alleged to have shot 1 Fode Jame who sustained injuries. The victims were rushed to Brikama Major Hospital. The point has learned. Eyewitnesses told the point that after the arrest of 9 people by the police, an angry mob stormed the police station and threw stones, damaging windows and windscreens of the police vehicles. Both the Inspector General of Police and the PIU commander of the West Coast region were stoned. That's what the point is reporting on. That will be that for the papers, and we will go to our first story, which has to do with Fode Gassama. He has been finally sworn in as a member of the National Assembly. Fode Gassama was nominated to the House by President Adama Barrow amid huge controversy, but today, Monday, he finally took the oaths. After this is coming after 3 days, the Supreme Court's ruling in the injunction case of Yakumba Jaite. Fode Gassama, or Honorable Fode Gassama, spoke to journalists shortly after taking part in Monday's session of the House.
Anyway, it's very impressive. First of all, I will thank Almighty Allah for bringing us to the end of this program. And my second point, I will thank the Excellency, the President Adama Barrow, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia, the Armed Forces, for the nomination. I think it's very, very vital, very important. National Assembly is an institution which is very, very vital, and is among the 3 organs of government which makes the laws of the land, to ratify bills, and to amend the provisions. When I say provisions, I simply means non-entering clauses in the Constitution. But there are 2 types of provisions in the Constitutions: entering clause and non-entering clause. So, being a member of the National Assembly, we have a very, very vital role to play in the society, particularly when it comes to in terms of national responsibility, which is the primary objective, which everybody should support that. That should be private.
Your nomination has sparked controversy in the country. What is your reaction? There are a lot of people, especially in the UDP camp, who are not happy with your nomination and the process it takes. Are you comfortable with it? Do you think you'll be able to carry out your job under such conditions effectively?
Yes, I will do my best anyway, and I'm sure I will deliver what is expected from me. I'm a member of the United Democratic Party. Everybody knows that Fode is one of Honorable Fode Gassama is one of the best and a very strong member of United Democratic Party. When Yaya Jammeh was here, I staged my life. I went to jail. I sacrificed everything just to get rid of Jammeh from power. If you could remember, I was arrested on the 14th of February 2014 when I was just exercised my right with the other militants of the party. We were arrested at Madiana, and they brought us before the court of law. And the trial took us about 3 months before the judgment was passed on us. We suffered a lot for this country.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I'm going to replace my AfriCell 3G SIM card.
Why use a 3G SIM card when you have a 4G phone? Replace your 3G SIM card today for the real AfriCell 4G SIM and receive 1 GB of internet data for free.
Really?
Yes, get 1 GB for free just by replacing your SIM card at any AfriCell outlet.
With no loss of contact, the cost of bundle from the 3G SIM card is the same for the 4G SIM.
And guess what? With the 4G SIM card, you can also connect to the 3G network as well.
This is so cool. I'll replace my 3G SIM card right away to the real 4G SIM and receive my very own 1 GB for free.
From AfriCell, it's always real and it's for free.
Where AfriCell goes, no one has this.
Reaction has still continued to trail the sacking or removal of Ousainou Darboe as Vice President of the Gambia. The Fado Network has been out and about. More in this Vox Populi.
man de gisuma ci dara loo xam ne lu ñaaw la wala lu mu ci war a wax jàpp naa ne daa réew mi moom liggéey la soxla xañ na moom gis na ne moom moo ko faloon moom moo ko jëloon teg ko ci place bi moom moo xamoon lu taxoon mu jóolu ko jël ko su ko fa wàccee jël keneen teg ko fa ñun duñ mën lu dul rafetlu ko soo dëkk bi dafa nit daal pour liggéey waxuma ne nag Barrow liggéey Darboe liggéeyutoon waaye nag xañ na buñ nag comme jigéen biñ fi teg nii déema man maa ngi déglu waxam rafetlu naa waxam bu baax because nañu ne ñëw liggéey léegi nekkatuñ ci mbiri politique ci liggéey lañ léegi waxtu liggéey dafa jot nañ liggéey.
Fafa wa gàtt na torop because of nit ki soo dëkkee ak moom mënuloo dëkk ak moom am nga sañ-sañ pour mu abal la fi mu nekk loolu rek loolu de laa mun a wax because of moom moo jël Darboe moom moo seet ne mënut a dem ak Darboe kon am na li xew buñ ko bilee ñu xam ne am na balaa Darboe am na keneen ku mu daaxabul balaa Darboe kon suñ daaxee Darboe warta nekka lu jafe si dëkk bi ñun ñëppee na lañ
bari ni aje Barrow Darboe bayo ayente betale ayo malu kantu mandin ko ni takita denola yesano tombon woto imanya na ngina la denola de kantu takita denola folola ina ta sano tombon
Barrow dal ala Darboe la bayo man fellon jere bari man sa da na site nyanta hormo di la le bunya di yalla man sa o man sa ala banko ka nyanta hormo so de ngam na ya tambindi man sa ya pray hormo so because ni ma hormo di yalla banko jama be hormo di la na banko dingol nyanta hormo di la Barrow la ko di nyanta hormo di la ya nyanto di yalla ay si ay do ko ke ala bayo Barrow la bayo ala Darboe la bayo de man fello wotore bayde ane ayu min du ñote mam fello to bala ñenta mobe banku di be ñenta kayro di la Barrow la ngara respect ko di yalla ngal hon mo di ngal ñento di yalla ay banko do kunu ba di amo siata di abo dan mi asia ke badde ma ñenta silale ye to nya fo ñokan ye Barrow bulay do ko
nden domo ami maron de moto ñu joswa e ga von dele Barrow di nimbama ndele Barrow tola otumo carte fayo botala ye usenda findi ni lungo men wolum fele je nin kono ya findini tenel lungola arabalon te wulut ngato la adam barol bar bi ko membe keren kay ngadu wadron kayro taraje do hanisa mbebe ku kiline usenda be UDP nyame ndingo adam baro be UDP wala nyam mbe kayente UDP la say nin kudun tete man sa kundala koto kacada mala baban kayro tat continue ni tem yajel say mbe men duwala dron jama muslimo le gambian kol be al ngab tara fule kidin man sa men tambita ngabulano ma wala kada adam baro tin ndingo men ngawulun kono kon ndoma amiti ami moro baro wulu barinde ko mbe kafu nyoma nga adam baro nga sementu yan nga sementu yan man say amul dan nolt alala ke mansat ni ala da lungolu na sadangol
ay la minute ba bondije bar mona mosili mania ala la manso me sawne banko da tubabu le sanji timal ke banko kan foro la tne botaje karaba jawara nyim banko mara sanji tan saba birala taimo banda botaje ya jamme ya mara sanji muang anin fula abe nyim banko kan abataje nimbaro sida je horomo numbu nya ko na beje baro alale ak mansot adu mansal fanam bari ku sababo balale usen dabole baro muta kay ko telbetam la nyaado yamutale ni fa isitambi nimman fa banko bebu usen dabo UDP nyimbangun kan kinta je mesitambala bari atle mu nyaadon kot yamutale biyo mba falale akoy ndam ko be marli jaw men kono way findi adu luwa fana sina lo nyimbangu kan akeda nyala manke nyala usen dabo kan nyi kuma naf fa fele fon na rafuta baro na ta sisi ran kono odi baro si usen jam fano ba.
It's normal. This is a government issue whereby it's almost go and come. Everybody deserves the position. So when you are in office, you have to do what is expected on people, not only for the party members or leaders of your own institution or your own party, but you have to work for the nation. That's what we call by a government generally.
TAF Africa Global is pleased to launch Dalaba Housing Estate. Dalaba Housing Estate is our newest estate located on the Sukuta Jabang Road. You can buy a finished 2 or 3 bedroom house or service plots accompanied with a free fence and gate.
Interesting comments there. We'll now bring you another report which has to do with OJ, Omar Jallow. Omar Jallow on Monday dismissed claims that President Adama Barrow has offered him a ministerial job. The former agriculture minister tells the Fatu Network that the president's no offer was made to him and that he will not, the way and manner in which President Adama Barrow has treated him, he will not accept to work for him again. More in this interview.
The present hospital near the former Roxy Cinema, that's where Pastor Forbes and all his younger brothers and sisters were born. And we grew up together. When the reshuffle took place, a lot of people came to see me, thinking that because the Ministry of Agriculture is entrusted with James Gomez, and James Gomez is the PPP representative now in cabinet, coming to say if the president calls me and offers me the appointment, I should graciously accept it. But Pastor Forbes didn't come purposely for that. He had other things that we had discussed concerning some individuals who were involved in violating my rights and torturing me during Yahya Jammeh's time. They want him to lead them, to come for me to forgive them. And I said, for me, even if they don't come, I'm forgiven. But the president has not sent anybody to come and see me. As much as I'll confirm here that a lot of people have come to me thinking that because of the ministry is entrusted to James Gomez, and James Gomez is a PPP representative in cabinet, the president it's likely that the president will invite me to assume again the responsibility of the Ministry of Agriculture. But if you can remember, categorically when you invited me to your network the last time, and I've said it on many fora and newspapers, that I will not ever again accept a minister position or stand for elections. I think I have played my part in the political evolution of this country. I've played my part during the Jammeh regime, and I think that now is the time for us to help the younger people to take over the reins of responsibility, both at the level of party and at the level of state. That's my position.
If you also remember, I told you that Mahathir Mohamad became president and prime minister. You named it 2 times in Malaysia. And at the age of 90, he was elected again. So if the president said, well, what happened was a mistake and you are the only person who can come and fix this thing, I'm not going to accept that.
No, I am not. I'm one person who doesn't say things and change it. And you can remember, I was ready to lose my job in '92 when I told Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara in the presence of everybody that he should not change his mind to contest elections again. People who are just crying, telling him if he leaves this country, the country will go back to tatters. We are just telling lies. It's not true.
Is it that you are not happy with the way you were removed as cabinet minister? That's why you said you will not go back to cabinet.
That is one of the things, because I'm human. And then I know what I have contributed to bring the coalition on board. And as I said, my dismissal was not only me, but the removal of Mrs. Fatmata Jallow Tambajang, who was really the person behind bringing the unity among the parties and establishing the coalition. And I thought that as responsible leaders and matured leaders, we should always try to live by the dictates of our agreements. We agreed that we're going to have a coalition for 3 years. We agreed that we establish committees. And one of the committees that was agreed to be established was the governance committee with other committees. And they said the president, both during elections, after elections, should be consulting this committee in relation to appointments and removals. And the president has this agreement. So I cannot understand why we should, at this time, violate all this. And I thought, with my role in the cabinet, if I have done anything that the president thought he was not very happy with, he could have called me to his office, like what Sir Dawda used to do, to consult you, to know why you did such or why you said such. And that as human beings, we are all amicable to make mistakes. Then we can resolve our mistakes in-house. But if I was dismissed, the letter was sent to me. The president didn't call me. And up to today, I'm talking to you. The president has never talked to me. I am not in politics for position. That I would never have resigned my managerial job in the Commercial Bank. I was paid more than the parliamentary secretaries. Then I would never have resigned my job as the UN in East Timor, where I go home every month with $5,000 in my pocket. I love this country, and I went into politics to serve the people of this country and to serve this nation. So for me, it's not the position. You can still do a lot of contribution to national development when you are not in position.
Who will you blame for disintegration in the coalition? You were together, and a few months down the line, you became divided.
As I told you, I said that at a rally in Latrikunda, it's the UDP, that when Ousainou Darboe was released from prison, the first statement he made, that he will sue anybody who talks about 3 years. That means he was going to sue all parties, including UDP, because the UDP was part of the process and part of the agreement. And I thought what he should have done is to go and consult the chairperson and the vice chairperson. The chairperson was Mrs. Tambajang, and the vice chairperson was Dembo Bojang. And let us call an executive committee of the coalition. Let us discuss it. Let him advise us but not to go on the air and in newspapers saying that he's going to sue us, all of us, all the parties. That is why I think that also when we went to a meeting of the national executive of the coalition for the parliamentary, for me, I believed that the Gambia, and still I believe in it, and always believe in that, the Gambia is far more important than any party and all the parties and all the leaders put together in Gambia. Gambia is more important. When we went and when the UDP leader in that committee decided that the UDP will not go into the parliamentary elections as a coalition, but looking for tactical alliance. If we had gone into tactical alliance for the presidency, Yaya Jammeh is still here. So for me, as I said, we had a program. The program is to review and to make sure we transform the economy, the judiciary, the civil service, etc., and then we go to elections. That should have been the role and the responsibility of the transitional coalition government. But if he comes and tries to make the parties to be more important than national issues, that's when problems started. That's what led to the disintegration of the coalition.
Disintegration, you were sacked, the former vice president was sacked, Ousainou himself was sacked last week. What is your reaction to his sacking and two cabinet ministers?
Well, for me, I said, because we as responsible leaders refuse to live up to the agreements or to the principles of the agreement, that's why these things are happening. So if the president sat one day and sacked a vice president and 4 ministers, Ajaratu Farmata Tambajang, myself, Gomez of the Youth and Sports, D.A. Jao of Information and Health Ministry, all 4 ministers and the vice were sacked. All right, nobody said anything. Why should anybody say anything now? I will never ever be part of anything that is double standard. I think we should all live up to our principles and our beliefs, and we should also always be honest to ourselves and to what we do. We are here not to serve ourselves or our parties. We are here to serve a nation.
Imagine Ousainou Darboe did not come saying, Barrow, he's going to sue anybody who challenge this thing. What do you think the situation of this country and the governance will be?
The governance should have been better, because then him, as a very experienced lawyer, could have convinced the coalition executive, basing it on law and constitutionality, and we'll all agree and we'll make a press release whereby that press release will be signed by all the 7 party leaders and the independent, Dr. Aissatou Touré, and the other independents, Buba Aysane and Muhammad Magasi. Then everything will be okay. But if one individual wants to go against the agreement of 7 parties and an independent, 3 independents, I will go against that. I believe in collectivity and responsible leadership and collective responsibilities.
So you are saying even if Ousainou wanted Barrow to serve for 5 years, he could have done it in a better way?
He could have done it in a more civilized, responsible and democratic manner. That's what I'm saying. I have no objection to that. If that is what the law states and the constitution take precedence over any other law. But what I'm saying is, one individual cannot just stand up and challenge what 7 parties have agreed and 3 independents. I don't agree to that. We should all act in consultation. We should all respect each other's beliefs and opinions. And we come together because we are a coalition, so that we will always speak with one voice.
You are gloating now that Ousainou also is out, because he has been accused or is blamed, who is one who is said to be behind all these things.
Well, for me, I'm not happy about it, because for me, I believe in Gambia. Everybody have your role to play.
I'm not saying you're happy, but are you gloating?
What do you mean gloating? Oh, okay. No. For me, just as I said when I was removed, people came here, I bought drinks for them. I said, I was born in the mud house. What I became, my destiny is not the hands of one person. It's in the hands of God. And I said, when we won, I went to Sadauda Keraba Jawara. I said it in your network. And I told him, sir, when I resigned my job in East Timor, I passed through your house in London. And you advised me not to contest elections. But you told me to come and talk to the party leaders to come together. If they don't come together, they can never ever remove Yaya Jammeh. I went back and said, sir, we have won. Adama Barrow has won. Thanks to your advice, we have come together. He said, no, wait. You know, it's because of people's belief in you people and trust in you people. That people believed in you and they entrust their trust in you. That's why you won. Please go and tell your people that if you start betraying each other, you are not betraying each other. You are betraying the state and God. Sir Dawda told me that. That is why, for me, when I swear on the Quran, I don't listen to anybody. I say what I think is true. Because I will never ever be afraid of a human being and leave God.
Sir Dawda said you should not betray each other. You and others, and even your supporters said you were betrayed by Barrow because of Dabo. Dabo himself became betrayed. Dabo himself is betrayed by the president. What do you think will be the fate of President Barrow now that he betrayed all of you?
He didn't betray any of us. We betrayed ourselves. We elected him. We should not have allowed, as I said, Hussein should not have allowed the coalition to be fragmented when he decided that the parliamentary elections will not be contested under the coalition. That's why it started. And it's from the UDP, not from Barrow.
Dabo Sakin, is it a political suicide for, as many commentators said, a political suicide for President Barrow? Do you think so, or is it going to be a normal thing?
It's a normal thing.
It's not a political heavyweight that can shake.
If that was the case, why didn't they win for 20 years contesting Yahya Jammeh? When we were going to the convention to select the candidate, we didn't talk about big parties and small parties. Each party in Gambia took 70 delegates. That's what brought Adama Barrow, not UDP, not PPP, not any other party. What I want people to believe is that God wanted a change and the change happened. And then we should have, because it came through a united front, that united front should have existed till the expiry of the transitional government. If we didn't do that, we betrayed ourselves and betrayed our country.
Finally, if President Barrow said, well, all what I did, your sacking, it was a mistake from my end and I was misled and so on and so forth, will you not consider, and for the interest of this country and for the interest of the farmers, to go back and put that agricultural ministry on a proper footing? From there you come back home?
As I told you, I don't believe that what I can do, no Gambian can do it. That will be an insult to the Gambian.
It's not an insult, but you have a clear understanding of agriculture and to solve farmers' problem.
I tried, and the 1 year, 6 months I spent there, everybody has seen the different changes. But the president didn't see it. And he's the son of a farmer. I am not. Now I am not going to accept a ministerial job anymore. I've said it. It's finished.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That will bring us to the end of today's news review. Thank you very much. Goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow.